Welcome to Owl Books Part 5 of the book Mini Habits. The Mini Habits Difference. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. What makes mini habits different from every other system out there claiming to change your life? How can this system improve habit development and personal growth over traditional methods? These are fair questions to ask, so here are the answers. Mini habits can compete with your existing habits. Studies on people attempting to change existing habits have found discouraging results. Point 24. It turns out that once a habit gets strong enough, even the strongest intentions have a tough time turning it around. In the context of a day, you'll do many more habitual behaviors than it seems, and these habits can interfere with your attempts to add in a new healthy habit. Where mini habits trounces other habit programs is in competitiveness. When you attempt to introduce a new behavior, it's like trying to enter a weight-lifting competition without training. There is a ton of competition there already, and even worse, the competition is proven, experienced, and stronger than you. Most habit programs go wrong here. They convince you that you can compete head-to-head with these stronger habits right away. Sorry, I've got $400 riding on smoking and watching TV. They tell you to introduce a huge change like going from not writing much at all to 2,000 words per day, or being on the couch to exercising for an hour every day. The problem with this is the cost in willpower. It's a math equation that doesn't work out in your favor, unless you already have a strong self-discipline muscle. If not, you'll suffer burnout and all win $400. The brain resists big changes. Have you ever heard of people saying that you just need to get your foot in the door for employment opportunities? Mini habits are that same concept, but instead of getting into a company, we're talking about your brain. I think of the prefrontal cortex as having a spending allowance before the automatic part takes over. For every task, the subconscious brain looks at what you're asking of it and charges you willpower to get into the control room. You're only allowed to ask for so much manual control per day, but once you're in, you're in. Mini habits are low willpower Trojan horses that can leverage their easy access into the brain's control room into big results. I noticed this when I did that first push-up. It was the same physical action for how I started every workout, but I didn't feel the burden of a workout because I didn't ask my brain for the whole thing. So it's like having unlimited willpower. You can get yourself to do just about anything if you guide yourself along in super small steps. Try it. If you resist walking up to a girl to ask her out, decide to move your left foot forward, and then your right foot, in her direction. You'll get there, and she'll ask you why you were walking so funny. Icebreaker. Live update example. After 3 hours of basketball today, I was exhausted. My brain and body told me there was no way I could write. I was falling asleep. I had no willpower. But I aimed for 50 words, which was too small to resist, and once again I'm well beyond my target now and awake. Many times when you're tired, engaging your mind or body will wake you up. Other methods will tell you it's okay to let up too soon. The common myth is that you can establish a habit in 21 or 30 days. Some books are wholly based around this false concept. The truth is a bit uglier and harder to predict. 18 to 254 days until habit formation, depending on the habit and the person. Many habits don't have a specific end date because we don't know how long it will take to form the habit. Instead, we'll look for signs that the behavior is habit. If your experience is like mine, you could end up developing a bigger habit than you planned. My mini habit of writing 50 words a day has resulted in writing more like 2,000 words per day, though not every day. Mini habits increase your self-efficacy. Self-efficacy isn't a term you hear much unless you read behavioral science studies. Self-efficacy is your belief in your ability to influence an outcome. In a 2-year randomized trial, baseline self-efficacy was shown to have a significant impact on exercise adoption and maintenance. This applies to people who want to exercise as well as those who need to exercise for medical purposes. Of course, we all should exercise to stay healthy. As researchers note in their review, patient compliance with exercise prescriptions is more likely to be successful if exercise self-efficacy is assessed and enhanced. Self-efficacy helps us achieve goals and create habits, but psychologist Albert Bandura clarifies that expectation alone will not produce desired performance if the component capabilities are lacking. Believing in yourself isn't enough. Lacking the baseline self-efficacy required for success, however, is extremely common in people who suffer from depression, weak willpower, and repeated failures. If you expect to fail, positive results are hard to come by. Many habits are a self-efficacy generating machine, and importantly, you can get started successfully with zero self-efficacy. Your daily successes will train you to have high self-efficacy. How can you not believe in your ability to do 1 push-up per day? You can do it in between these 2 sentences. And this amounts to strengthening your self-efficacy through practice. Many habits double as training for believing in yourself. Remember, your brain latches on to any repetition you throw at it. So a problem many people develop is an expectation of failing to reach their goals. Over time, this crushes their self-efficacy because it's hard to believe that next time will be different, especially if you're using the same strategy that failed last time. If you've been feeling hopeless, this is exactly what has happened to you. But you can do it. I'm not being motivational, I'm being logical. You can literally make positive progress in your life. To think otherwise is irrational nonsense, and it comes from training yourself to believe you can't. Many habits are the perfect way to start over. No longer will you be intimidated by massive goals. No longer will you be attacked with feelings of guilt and inadequacy for falling short. No, this time you're going to be succeeding on a daily basis. The victories may be small, but one small victory to a defeated mind is a big victory. Right now, you might be wondering, how can 1 push-up a day or writing 50 words a day help me? That's not enough progress to matter. First, that's wrong. When any small behavior becomes a habit, it matters a lot. A habit is the strongest behavioral foundation a human can have. It's better to have the habit of 1 push-up per day than to do 30 push-ups every once in a while. Only habits can be built stronger and higher. Also, you're free and encouraged to exceed your target mark. I blow my targets out of the water on a daily basis now. But it's only because I must write a measly 50 words a day that I am inclined to write 2,000. Before this, I didn't write at all on some days. It was my ambition to write a lot that made me write very little. Now I write at least 3x as much as before. It's because I'm no longer intimidated to start. I love my safety net too. I can call the day a success if I take a few minutes to write 50 words. This is so empowering. Many times, I have planned to just write my 50 and ended up writing 3,000 words. As I mentioned earlier, I once wrote 1,000 words with a headache and no energy. I felt like Superman after doing that. I looked back on the times I was completely healthy and energetic but wasted time, and then saw what I did with a headache and no energy, and got even more excited to share this book with the world. Many habits give you autonomy. In a 2012 job satisfaction survey of 411 people, 65% of American and Canadian respondents said they were unsatisfied or somewhat unsatisfied with their jobs. I think it's partly because of the traditional management philosophy that aims to control employees rather than enable them. Other surveys have found autonomy, or the feeling that you have control and can make decisions, is a primary factor in job satisfaction. A Denmark survey conducted by the European Working Conditions Observatory found that almost 90% of male employees and almost 85% of female employees with high job decision latitude are satisfied to a high degree, while only about 56% of those with low job decision latitude report a high degree of job satisfaction. This is a specific example of a universal truth: when a person feels controlled, they shut down. People hate it. Perhaps this is because autonomy is strongly associated with freedom. This is the downfall of many self-help books. They'll say that you have to sweat blood to get what you want in life. Well, isn't sweating blood a sign that a part of you really doesn't like it? Wouldn't you rather treat yourself well in the process of changing into a better person? The other extreme of self-help books includes fluffy, motivational BS, and other non-threatening prose to make you feel good. You might feel motivated temporarily, but as we've established, relying on feelings and motivation doesn't work in the long run. In your journey, you're going to love the weightlessness of many habits. But this is not a pushover system without structure. It's not a vapid attempt to get you psyched up. You'll set strict daily or weekly requirements for yourself, but they're so easy that your subconscious won't feel controlled by your plans. Important. Then, after you meet your small requirement, you're free to do what you want. Without guilt, and without an overbearing burden of heavy goals, you're free to explore these healthy behaviors. It makes the process more fun too, and that is a scientifically relevant benefit. One study found that when people perceived tasks and decisions to be fun, as opposed to tedious, boring, or difficult, they had stronger persistence. 30 Researchers in this study also noted the powerful impact of autonomy, which you'll notice is a key component of many habits. After your many habits, you're free to do what you want. Autonomy appears to work by means of activating our intrinsic motivation. Examples they mentioned in which increased autonomy gave better results, each supported by their own study, are morbidly obese people losing weight, smokers quitting, and diabetics controlling their blood glucose levels. Many habits marry the abstract and concrete. The two types of goals are abstract and concrete. An abstract goal is, I want to be rich. A concrete goal is, I want to make $15 by selling lemonade at 3 p.m. today. Most people strongly recommend that you aim for concrete goals, but it is important to also know your abstract life goals and values, as I have written about before on Deep Existence. Abstract thinking helps with abstract goals, but can hinder the self-regulation required for concrete goals. A study by LeBrew and Patrick showed the potential effect moods can have on our thinking. The experiments involved various mood manipulation techniques, i.e., asking people to think of the best, worst day of their life, and then tests to measure abstract thought ability or preference. They concluded from the study's 5 experiments that happiness caused people to think abstractly, which helps us see the big picture, but can create a challenge for pursuing goals requiring concrete thinking. Another problem is seen from a study by Ayelet Fishbach and Ravi Dar. It suggests early satisfaction or a high expectation of success can make us feel as if we've already succeeded. Dieters were split into 2 groups. The researchers reminded only one group of their dieting progress, and then offered both groups a reward choice, an apple or a chocolate bar. Of the group reminded of their progress, 85% chose the chocolate bar compared to 58% of the other group, suggesting an I deserve a reward mentality. A primary benefit of many habits is being able to do them no matter how you feel, including that sense of pre-goal satisfaction that tends to disrupt progress. Because the requirement is so small, there is no valid excuse, not from happiness or lethargy, to skip it. Happiness decreases your ability to perform concrete goals, but since the concrete part of many habits is, for example, just one push-up, it's still easy to do while in an abstract state of mind. It's so small that it requires very little mental energy and attention. And since happiness increases performance and focus on abstract goals, after your concrete goal, you can rely on your abstract goal of being fit to make you want to exercise more. As I've had success with mini habits, I've been happier, and it does make concrete mini habits slightly more difficult to achieve still easy. But once I start on a mini habit, the relevant abstract goals of writing more, reading more, or getting in great shape are easier to pursue. Because mini habits empower progress on abstract and concrete goals, people who are generally stronger in one or the other can find success. Remember when in the one push-up challenge I had to set multiple goals to complete 15 push-ups? I had to rely on concrete tiny goals to finish the workout. This flexibility is important for consistency because of the psychological changes we experience on a daily basis. It's being prepared for all possible situations and setbacks. There's almost no situation that will cause a complete failure to meet your mini habits, but there are many scenarios where you'll find yourself exceeding your mini habits. The only time I've failed just one of my 3 mini habits was when I forgot to read and fell asleep for the night. Mini habits are perfectly suited for any mood or situation. You can be happy and motivated, tired and depressed, or even sick, and still complete your mini habits and possibly more. Mini habits destroy fear, doubt, intimidation, and hesitation. These things are best conquered by action. Taking the first step kills fear over time, if not immediately. I'm no longer intimidated to write. I no longer have guilt about not reading enough. Going to the gym is not daunting now, it's fun. Fear can't exist if you've experienced something and it wasn't scary. Many habits compel you to take that first step because it's so easy. And even if you step back into your safe zone right after that, you're stepping out again tomorrow. Eventually, you're going to take a second step too. Many habits expose you to your doubts and fears in a way that feels safe and empowering. You'll see that exercise isn't so hard and you can do it. You'll see that daily writing is easy and writer's block is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You'll start reading more books. You'll have a cleaner home. Whatever you've been wanting to do will become possible. Many habits create insane bonus effects of increased mindfulness and willpower. One of the most important skills a person can develop is mindfulness, which is being aware of what you think and do. Being mindful is the difference between living purposefully and going through the motions. If your mini habit is to drink 1 glass of water per day, you'll be more mindful of how much water you drink in general. When you have to monitor something every day, however small, it climbs the ladder of your consciousness and you'll think about it even after you've met the requirement. I'm so mindful of my writing now because of my mini habit that I think about opportunities to write all day long. You will simultaneously and naturally develop a mindfulness habit, which will help with all future habit modification, including bad habits. The next bonus is a willpower increase. Since willpower needs endurance more than raw power, frequent repetition of small tasks is the ideal way to exercise the willpower muscle. The stronger your willpower, the greater mastery you'll have over your body. Many people are slaves to their bodies, responding to every feeling and whim. They believe they can't do things if they don't want to do them at the time. Adding mini habits is a great way to fix this mindset while building willpower. Enough talk. Let's move to action. The next chapter will show you how to create mini habits to last a lifetime. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe my channel for more amazing content and hit the bell icon for updates.